Morning, all you beautiful people. I am outside. The sun feels good this morning. I have my breakfast. I'm practicing my non-existent waitress skills. So here I am trying to walk to the garden with my hands full with a gate in my way. But I'm having breakfast out here today. I decided to do something a little bit different. So let me get set up and we can sit and have a chat. Okay, so that was quite the adventure. Trying to get set up for everything when my non-existent waitress skills wind up bathing my morning bagel in coffee. This is why I've never been a waitress, guys. It just don't work. I'm a klutz. I digress. It happened. Wanted to come out in the garden this morning, drink some coffee, listen to the birds, watch the animals hang out in the pasture, look over my very overgrown, needing to be mowed garden. I'm a slacker sometimes, guys. It happens. I'm sorry. And it's not going to get done today because we're actually getting ready to go on a little bit of a trip for the weekend. So there's not much going on today except for getting ready, hitting the road. And I know that it's been a while since I've done a video, so I thought I would do a video about something I've been thinking about a lot lately. Karma, you leave it. She's after my bagel. Okay, so let me do a little sidebar here. These bagels have blackberry jalapeno jam on them, and they're delicious. Like, I put it on everything bagel. Magnificent. A little bit of cream cheese, the jam. I get it at the farmer's market from this lady, and every time I see her, I'm like, where are my drugs? She actually made a larger jar of the jam just for me. So guys, like, go to your farmer's market, get in good with the jam lady, and she'll hook you up. Oh, so anyways, after my 7th scroll of the morning, let's get to what I wanted to talk to you guys about here. And I've been thinking a lot about where I was versus where I am. If you had told me, a year or 2 years ago that I was going to have a homestead and I was going to build the fences, out of pallets. It's not like, building a fence from scratch, which is a little bit different. But I built a goat barn. I built a chicken coop. I built a rabbit enclosure. I have started the biggest garden I have ever done or attempted in my whole entire life. I'm starting crops I've never grown. A lot has changed, guys. I mean, I don't know if you know, I'm kind of a bigger girl. And I used to be a couch potato, like 100%. I have fibromyalgia, I have scoliosis, I have arthritis, I have a whole slew of like anxiety and mental health stuff, and it really like incapacitated me sometimes, especially the physical stuff, and I think part of the reason why I'm able to achieve the things that I'm able to achieve is because we relocated. We're in a different climate. It's a little easier on my body. Wisconsin is pretty cold, pretty brutal winters, and this is just better for me physically. So that helped, okay? But before we even moved here, I had this shift in perspective and in my mindset. And I woke up one day and I was thinking about all the things I wanted to do. I want to have a garden. I want to have animals. I want to build things. I want to learn how to homestead and be self-sufficient. but I couldn't see myself getting there. I have physical issues. I am a couch potato. I don't do a whole lot. How can I get to where I am, from where I am, to where I want to be? And that's something that I really thought about a lot. And historically in my life, I've been the person who looks at the big picture. I look at the goal. I didn't get up. I didn't move towards those goals. I didn't make the effort because it seems so insurmountable, like looking at this huge mountain of stuff and going from this place of like letting fear rule me. Really, that's what it is. Letting fear rule my life, rule my thoughts. And I was like, how am I going to go from here to there? And one day I just had this, I mean, I've had people tell me like, step by step, break it down into smaller pieces so that you're not overwhelmed. But even like when I was trying to small chunk it in my brain, even the smallest little piece was just giving me massive anxiety. And so I started simple. I started really small. I started with, making it a goal to get out of the house and do something physical every day. Because I realized that I started paying attention to my patterns of behavior. And I realized that on the days where I had to get up and get out of the house, I was much more productive that day. If it was a day where I didn't have much going on and I was just staying at home and I didn't have to go run any errands in the morning, I was not as productive. So I recognized that getting up and getting my body actually physically moving was a helpful thing in motivation for me. So I started making it a point to take the dog every day to the park. And that sounds really small, and it sounds like it doesn't relate to homesteading at all, right? But here's how my brain made the connection. I'm getting up, I'm going outside, I'm doing something physical, I am making that effort. And then also, because I was taking the dog to the park, we were running and playing and hiking. And when I say hiking, I mean just walking through the woods. Like, I'm not like, even now, I'm not the rock climbing type of hiker. Maybe someday I might get there, but I'm not there right now. So it was kind of this small little step that I made that was towards becoming more active, becoming more motivated, being able to get into my day a little easier, figuring out what worked for me, my own little psychological hack to be able to get myself going every day. And then once I started doing that for a couple weeks and I made that a habit, my dog is barking. Once I made that a habit, I started adding other things. I made it a goal to wake up by the same time every day. And I made it realistic. Like, you don't go from being a couch potato to waking up at 4 a.m. and being happy about it and drinking coffee. I mean, even now, I'm a homesteader. I'm a lazy homesteader, guys. I ain't even trying to lie. I don't get up. My husband is amazing, okay? I have to preface this by saying this. My husband is amazing, and he definitely is a lifesaver in some circumstances. He gets up in the morning, he lets the chickens out, he takes care of those things. I'm very lucky. And, he still works on Wisconsin time. He's actually still employed by a Wisconsin company, and he works remotely. So, it's very easy for him to get up early because he has to for work. So he comes out and he lets the animals out and, feeds the chickens and takes care of the few morning things. And then I come out when I get up, which is usually between 7 and 8, which is monumental for me because I used to be the kind of person who didn't roll out of bed before 9 or 10 a.m. unless, they absolutely had to or the house was on fire or something. So, it feels really weird admitting that. Yeah. I mean, like, sleeping in now is the time that I used to wake up, guys. It's wild to me to think about that. How much of a change that has happened in my life with just that. Just the getting into the morning routine. That's another thing. I fought for years against routines and structure and schedules, and I'm still not a huge fan of them, to be honest with you. I think that's part of the reason why I like homesteading. It's a little different every day. There's something to keep my brain engaged. It's not the repetitive, day in, day out, exact same thing. I mean, yeah, there are some things that are repetitive, like you have to feed the animals every day, you have to, make sure that you're staying on top of things with the garden. So it's different enough every day that it doesn't feel confining to me. I've really tried to work at establishing routines, not schedules. Slotting in like this time. I mean, obviously, like there's time and place because you do have to make it to appointments on time. You do have to make it to things on time in life. But for my own personal day, I don't say like, oh, between 8 and 9 I'm doing this, or between 9 and 10 I'm doing this, because for me, that works great for some people. It absolutely works great. And if it works great for you, please don't be dissuaded from doing that. But for me personally, it feels too confining and I get stressed about it and then I shut down. So a big part of what I've done is look at the way that I react to situations, at the way that my brain works, the way that I can fit these things into my own personality. I know a lot of type A type people. You think about type A type people. They do well with structure. They do well with schedules. They thrive on that stuff. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. It's just very much not what works for me. And so what happened in my life is I had a lot of people trying to motivate me, trying to help me through the struggles that I've faced. But those people were more type A. Or they developed into type A's. And again, not that there's anything wrong with that at all. It's just not the way that my brain works. So I had to figure out how I could get the structure, get the stability, and not have to adhere to some of the things that I was being advised to do. So making it personalized, figuring out like what motivates me, what is the psychology behind my self-sabotage? Because let's face it, we all self-sabotage to some degree. Whether it's, you've got to get up for work early the next day, but you still go out with your friends, or it's something much larger. Everybody puts themselves in scenarios where they're going to struggle, they're going to maybe fail. So I had to figure out, like, what are those things I'm doing? And I had to try to break those patterns. And so that's what I started doing. I started creating new habits, new routines. I try to do relatively the same-ish thing every morning. I try to get up and get my body out of the house as soon as possible. Whether it's I come out to the garden, I come hang out with the animals and get stuff down out there. I go get coffee at my local coffee shop. Whatever I need to do that day to get myself up and moving and out. That's what I do. And then I have like a nighttime routine. I come out, I water the garden. I like to do it at night because then, it's more effective and things aren't evaporating as much, and it gives the plants the time to absorb the water overnight. And then also it's kind of like a meditative thing for me almost. Coming out here and just focusing on the plants, paying attention to, where are the weeds I need to be addressing? How are the plants doing? How are they growing? Do I need to make any adjustments to how they're growing? All of these things get me out of the stress of the day and help my brain to start to unwind. And then I go inside and I kind of do the same-ish routine before bed. And then I sleep, which is something that I didn't used to do either. I mean, not at night anyways. Like I would sleep, from like 2 a.m. until 10 a.m., which apparently is not too uncommon for neurodivergent people. So if you're in that category, like, I might be speaking your language a little bit here. But people have told me for years, like, establishing a nighttime routine is going to be helpful in your sleep health. And I kind of poo-pooed it away, to be honest with you. Like, but honestly, it has been one of the best decisions I've made. And now I go to bed early, like a little old lady. But it works for me, and I'm getting a lot done. When we moved here, a quarter of my yard was nothing but blackberry bushes. That quarter of my yard is now an animal pasture. Now, when I say animal pasture, there's not any grass there yet. I've tried to grow some, and I think I put it out too soon. It was a variety that needed a higher germination temperature than what I had. So I might be redoing that in the next couple days because we're actually supposed to get some really high temperatures up in the 90s. So that's kind of wild to me. It's like the beginning of June and we're already talking 90s. But I'm trying to get little goals. I very much have a vision of where I want to be in 5 years, in 10 years, the things that I want to accomplish. I have them in my head. I have them written down. Write it down. That's another thing. Oh my gosh. We have an entire command center. This spider, guys, look at this. It's in love with me or something. Okay, so as I was saying, we have an entire command center in our house, and I'll see if I can pop a clip of it in here. We have a wall in the hallway that is just nothing but note cards. Every project that we want to work on, every idea that we have, every thing that we need to do, we put it on a note card, we stick it up on the wall. It's massive. It's the entire hallway. And what that does is a couple things. Number one, it gets it all on my brain. I'm the person who, my brain doesn't shut off, okay? I think about things, and I think about them, and I think about them, and they just keep playing in my brain, and it keeps me from sleeping. It makes me stressed. It amps up my anxiety. And by putting it all down, but like putting it all down on a wall, it's massive. I can't ignore it. That's really helped me. It doesn't look the greatest when we have company over. I really wish I had an office where I could set up a wall and have my command center like in my office where I could shut the door and be like, okay, nobody look in there. But I don't have that. So, you make do with what you got. It's helped us a lot, and it keeps us on task. It keeps us honest, and it gives us a visual measure of what we have accomplished as well. We have like a category of like things that need to be done, and then we have another category of things that are high priority, medium priority, and low priority, that we are actively wanting to work on like now, or at least start. Hello, Karma, my little shark tail. So we have the things that we are actively wanting to start. Obviously, we have things on the board that we're not ready to start yet, and we won't be ready for a while. So those things just kind of hang out over in the far left column, and then the next column is the things we want to actively work on. Then we have a column of things that we are in the progress of doing. And then we finally have like a column, and I thought this was a weird thing. I told Troy, I was like, well, we'll just throw them away when we're done. And he's like, no, we need to have a column for the things that we have completed. And he said the reason that he wanted to do this was because it gives you a visual representation of how much you've accomplished. We have filled that done section twice now. And I didn't think that there was going to be much value in seeing that wall fill up, but it is really encouraging to see the progress you've already made, because it makes the things I still need to do not look as insurmountable, because it's like, look at all the stuff I've already completed. Yeah, there's a lot over here. There's a lot that still has to be done. But I've already done all this. I can do all that too. It gives a whole different perspective on things. And part of the reason why I've been thinking about this a lot is because, we just had our Wisconsin daughters come out here. And the youngest is still here. And she's going to be hanging out until July. And I'm really happy to have her here. I've missed her so much. Our eldest had to go back, though. She's got a job. She's got animals she had to take care of. So she went back to Wisconsin already. She was only here for a few days. It was an awesome few days. But one of the things that really hit me was when she was here, she told me she's proud of me. I wasn't planning on getting emotional, guys. I know that I've done a lot. And I know I've accomplished a lot. And I know that I've changed a lot. But I could see it on her face. I could see that she was amazed that I did all of this. And I mean, not that I did it all myself, but like that my husband and I and the kids who live here with us all year um, have done all this and accomplished all this. And seeing that on her face, that recognition of the changes that I've made, it meant a lot to me. Because even though I know I've changed, even though I know I've made um, better habits for myself, it feels good to see it, have other people see it and acknowledge it, and it kind of validates it. It makes you feel like, maybe you are really improving and making progress, and I'm still leaking. It sounds weird to say that, hey, my kid said that I'm proud of me, and that's normally something that, the parents say to the kid. But it felt good. And then she said it, and then my other kids chimed in, and they all said it too, and I like my kids. They're some of my favorite people in the world. And hearing that they're happy for me, they're proud of me, they're excited for the changes that I'm making and for the goals that I have for the future, and that they think that I can attain them. Oh gosh, guys, what is my allergies are acting up here? I was not planning on this being sappy. Sorry. It means a lot to me. When you have other people acknowledge your progress, it confirms it. It makes you realize that you really have come a long way. I now have goals and dreams that are the biggest I've ever had. I see massive acreage in my future. I see a business. I see the opportunity for my kids to work for themselves if they choose. I have huge plans. And it's scary, to be honest with you. Like, it's scary. Especially going from somebody who lived in fear, like, almost constantly. I let fear hold me back from so many goals, so many dreams, so many aspirations, so many business ideas, and I just got to the point where I just literally let it go. Not to say I'm not still afraid. Okay? Abso-freaking-lutely. I'm terrified. I'm terrified about the things that I have planned. But I have faith, too. And I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. For the first time in my life, I feel it in my bones. I'm on the right path. I'm 38, guys. It's kind of a crappy feeling to realize that your life is like halfway gone, almost. Hopefully, more than a little bit less than halfway gone. But it's wild to realize that all this time is gone and I'm just now having it click. But the thing that actually discouraged me for a little while, but the thing that I keep reminding myself is I'm trying to build a legacy. I'm trying to build something that my kids can grow with, that they can learn from, that they can use and utilize to their strengths. And yeah, it gets me down because I wanted to live this kind of life when my kids were little, and they're all growing up. Our youngest is 13, gonna be 14 soon. And it's hard. Like, it's hard sometimes looking at them and realizing that the dreams that I had for them when they were kids didn't happen. But I'm looking at it like, okay, my oldest is 23, gonna be 24. I could be a grandma. Oh God, I hope they don't make me a grandma until I'm at least 40. Like, give me that at least. I mean, I didn't give my mother that privilege, but give me that at least. But I feel like, even though I get to do it for my kids, I can do it for my grandkids. I can build this legacy, and maybe someday my great grandkids will still be running it. I don't know. We'll see what happens, but a girl can dream, right? I just want to encourage y'all today to get up, get out, do something that scares you a little bit, and break it down into small, tiny, minuscule chunks if you need to. If you need to even put the end goal out of your mind for a minute and just focus on what's right in front of you, then, you hear the saying all the time on the internet, like, oh, just do the next right thing. And I think people think about that in the context of, like, being nice to other people, and obviously, like, that is a valid view on that. But do the next right thing for yourself, too. Do the next right thing for your goals. Do the next right thing for your life. And once you start to let go of that fear, you start to build confidence in yourself. You have goals, and then you can measure the amount of progress that you have made. You'll be amazed what you can do. I literally thought that I was going to float through my life and not amount to anything, to be honest with you. I had that fear. I had that fear that I'm in my 30s and I don't know what I'm supposed to do with my life. And I found it. I figured it out. I stopped being so damn hard on myself. I stopped trying to fit in a box that somebody else wanted me to fit into. And I started really doing the soul searching and the work in figuring out what I needed, what I wanted, what motivated me, what kept me going when things got rough. And I'm still figuring those things out, guys. Like, don't take this to mean that I have it all figured out, because I don't. Absolutely don't. I'm still trying to figure it out. But I just want to encourage you guys. If this is your goal, or if it's not your goal, if you have another goal, you have a dream, chase it. Don't run full bore. Baby steps. Because if you run full bore, you're going to hit a wall. But if you take those baby steps, you're going to grow stronger and do better and be better than you ever thought possible. Now, on that note, guys, I'm going to get back to my coffee. I hope you all have a wonderful day. Make good choices. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.